Welcome to the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. You are now part of a small underground movement of dent technicians from all over the world. We are on a mission to change our industry with innovation, intelligence, and skill. But because we don't rely on an insurance company to steer customers our way, we need to do things different. We need to do things smarter. We do that through a network of technicians that we call the Tactical Tech Movement. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with Tactical Dent Tech Podcast, sitting here with Angela Hiley.
Hey.
She's always glaring at me, wondering if I am going to introduce her or not.
Every time, motherfucker.
So anyhow, I hope you guys are having one hail of a day.
Hail
One
of a day.
hail of a day.
Woo!
Because we've been having one hail of a week.
Yes, we have.
And I hope all you guys are doing it up. Sorry for you West Coast California peeps. I don't think it's hailed out there. It's one place that never freaking hails.
Well,
There's a couple other areas that never get hail.
Well, I hope then that you're out there just hustling.
Enjoying the weather.
I hope you're...
You know, this week it dawned on me, especially while doing all this hail damage, and I had a couple smash jobs that were booked in for, 2-3 weeks. And they get here, and I'm totally kind of bummed out while I'm working on specifically this giant door smash that I knew was from a very, very particular client of ours. And I really didn't even know it was him until he walked through the door, and I was like, oh, shit. Although I liked the guy, I was thinking, oh, man, this guy's next level particular. So it's I knew I had to take that job to the absolute extreme that I possibly could. Thankfully, he came in, was very, very happy. Of course, he was eyeballing it from a mile away from every single conceivable angle. But it got me thinking, I'm like, man, I've been pricing these way too cheap. And I started thinking a little bit more about what we do with hail damage repair. And I think we talked about this on some of the previous podcasts, about technically our job is really just to move the client over to filing an insurance claim. And then at that point, letting us handle the insurance claim, right? Every client who thinks they have 5 dents typically have 50 dents.
Yeah.
That's the norm anyway. So a lot of times what we're doing is we're just coaching the client and customer into filing an insurance claim. I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? For these big jobs, I am going to start doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to explain the benefits and the value of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
It's only going to be for certain people that care about their vehicle.
Yeah.
And I'm going to push them into filing an insurance claim because I was actually talking to the gentleman, and it was an Audi door. And no, I did not have a chance to video it. We're just too busy right now. But he got a body shop quote. It was $2,800, and they were going to put Bondo in it. And he came to me, and I'm not going to tell you guys what I charged for it. It wasn't near $2,800. But it got me thinking. I'm like, if I could have at least got $2,500 out of that repair,
yeah,
I'm almost 100% sure that he would have filed the insurance claim, and we would have been doing the work.
Yeah.
So then, and the more that I'm thinking also about, I talked about last week how we're running this Facebook ad, and it's everybody who knows us, the UPS man sees the ad.
But the one gentleman that came in this week.
Yeah, there was one dude who was he said Facebook was reading his mind, and I got a hail damage claim that's probably in the neighborhood of $5,000 from this ad that we're running.
It spoke to me.
Yeah, he was just thinking about who he was going to use, and he had the initial insurance estimate, and our ad just happened to pop up on Facebook, and he came over. He's like, wow, that's, I'm a teacher at a school, and, Centerville High School is right down the road from us, and he's like, he was the band director, actually.
Yeah.
So he didn't even look like a band director, dude. So he didn't look like I don't want to offend any of you band directors. He didn't look like a nerd.
No.
So
it was he worked out.
Yeah. And so anyhow, he brought he's bringing the vehicle in, leaving it here with us.
No, but it was so funny when he was like, it spoke to me.
Yeah, the Facebook ad just spoke directly to him. So it leads me to think it's I'm spending so much time lately. We focus on a lot of big dent removal, and our ads run so well that's literally we're making $30,000 off of $1,000 worth of ad spend, And I'll gladly continue spending more, just so you guys know that. I don't have a budget when it comes to when we're making money off the ad. And it's like, I'm going to change my strategy where we focus on getting the money-making jobs in here and convert the other jobs into insurance-paying jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a very quick way to immediately make more money.
Mm-hmm.
So just something I was thinking about I wanted to talk to you guys about. And another thing that I want to talk about, and we kind of talked about earlier, is that we've literally been working so much. And the last time that I've worked this much was back in the hail chasing days. And we actually...
Well, I think didn't you work a lot when Centerville got hit?
Well, yeah, that was kind of right outside of that, though.
Okay.
It's always during a hailstorm when you end up working this much is pretty much what it's coming down to.
Yeah.
But, gosh, I was here until... we were here till 8:30 on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Which is not normal, but I've been doing so well on my diet, we bashed a pizza.
Oh, we got Jets pizza.
It was so delicious. So
we haven't
delicious.
had pizza in like
forever.
And you know what though? I'm thinking I think that's the way that you should do that, is that you should,
because it tastes so much better if you wait.
Yeah, you shouldn't eat that shit all the time. And then when you do eat it, it's like,
it's just delicious.
I know, it's so amazing. You're just
so it's not like you're depriving yourself. You're just waiting until it's going to be really, really amazing,
I know, and then when we got the pizza and the way it smelled, I was just like, oh.
Just so you guys know, when I started this journey just recently with you guys, I was at 247 pounds. And I am currently down to, the other morning I stepped on the scale, was at 226. So that is literally over about 21 pounds that I've lost.
I don't think I've really lost any weight.
You don't have anything to lose.
My muscles are getting bigger, though. I have the best trainer at Planet Fitness, and his name is John Hyde.
I always play the perverted personal trainer when we're there.
Which is perfectly fine. But sometimes some people are watching us, and I'm just like, oh, dear God.
She does this machine where we call it the noodle grabber.
I love that.
It's basically an ab machine.
I love it.
But it has these, I've never seen one like it. It has these rubber noodle things that go over your neck, around your shoulder.
Yeah.
And you grab these noodles and you do kind of like sit-ups while you're sitting up.
Yeah.
And I always make random things, like Captain Morgan stance in front of her as she's bending down towards me.
Yeah. That way all you
People
see is
at the
my
gym.
head going up and down, up and down, up and down.
And then it's kind of like over one of them ledges where you can only see like half of your body. So, yeah, I like to do all kinds of messed up stuff when we're at the gym.
I know. And then when you went to clean them off, I'm like, this is not normal. No,
I'm like, is this how you clean it off?
I'm like, this is disgusting. I'm like, don't do this, John. I'm like, quit.
You got to have fun
Stop it.
wherever you're at. Got to have fun wherever you're at. So,
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
We do.
And I still, every time I go into Planet Fitness, I marvel. I look at everything, and I know the gym's kind of gay and all that stuff, but I look at everything the way that it's set up, and I'm like, holy fucking shit. This is like,
I love our Planet Fitness.
and I've even been reading about the owners, and I'm so impressed. Well, number one, their team, their executive team, it's insane how many executive positions they've opened up for specific arenas, not only in marketing, but personal relations. And if you just get a chance, go to Planet Fitness and check out their executive team. There's like 5 or 6 members, and the experience these people have is just, it's like they're not overly experienced, but like one dude helped scale Radio Shack back in the day. And he was the CFO for Radio Shack, and then he began with Ace Hardware. And, excuse me, he actually went into Planet Fitness, and then, you read about all these people they put together at the top of this team, and you kind of realize why a corporate structure like that can put teams together to basically beat all of their competitors.
Everybody that works there is like extremely nice too.
Yeah. This one is pretty good, Planet Fitness. I've heard some bad stories about some of them
But
out
this
there.
one's owned by corporate though.
Rather than franchise.
Yeah.
Because literally, if you buy a Planet Fitness franchise, I was reading into it, and I think you do have to have about $1.5 million in liquid assets, and you got to have another huge chunk of money in the bank as well. which is not, in my opinion, a huge amount of money for the investment. The initial investment for Planet Fitness can be $850,000 to $1.5 million, depending on what type of facility and how you're actually outfitting the place.
Yeah.
Which I would say the one that we belong to is right up there. I mean, it's a very big, nice facility. And I watched them in there. The thing was bare-boned construction, like complete tear out and rebuild.
Yeah.
You know, they kept the bones and all that of the building, but they just literally built that whole place out inside of there, and it's really nice.
I know.
And the amazing thing that they actually figured out in their model is to have a high-value, low-cost price model.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd almost say, like, it's a lot like Netflix. You know, I mean, if you really think about it, Netflix is like one of them things, because I guarantee you most people that go to Planet Fitness, they're just like any other workout facility. They're not like me and her. If everybody was like me and her, they would lose money because we go there 5 days a week.
Yeah.
But most people will get a membership there and they'll just keep it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and they won't go back. And I guarantee you that's like, I want to say I had Netflix for 3 years and we didn't even watch it.
No, that was Hulu.
Okay, Hulu. Yeah, whatever. But it was
we've always watched Netflix.
$5 or $10 a month?
It was like $5. It's $5 a month.
Yeah, so they got this model where it's priced at a low enough price point that it's not so stingy that you want to cancel every month.
I think Jonathan watches Hulu, but we've always watched Netflix. Jonathan wanted that. But it's so funny, though. So, like, a funny story, because John will give me such a hard time now when we're, like, in Planet Fitness. So there's this lady that works out there, and she is in there, like, every day. Every day. She is there earlier than us. We get there at 5 a.m. I don't know if she gets there at 4 a.m., but this lady is fucking built. Like, if you've seen her from the back, you probably would think that she's a guy. But, I mean, she is a strong woman. She literally, I can't be on the same row of treadmills with her. She makes me look horrible. But the thing was, okay, so, like, she's there, like, all the time, every day. Well, when those tornadoes came through and John and I went back to Planet Fitness, she wasn't there. And I was like... Angela seems so concerned every day. She's like, wow. She's like, I bet she was in the tornadoes. I was like, I hope she's okay. I hope nothing happened to her. You ever think she might be on vacation or something? Well, that didn't even... No, you didn't. So every day we see her, she came back like a week later, you know. And I'm like, wow, we should stop her and tell her how concerned we were. You know, we thought she might have been swept up with the tornadoes. We just didn't know. We even poured out part of a Bang energy drink in her memory. We did not. Had a moment of silence. I don't even know what her name is. Listen, I am impressed with this lady. I mean, she's probably in her mid-40s. And she's got it going on. She has that treadmill up so high, looks like she's climbing up a wall. I've never at full speed. I think at full speed that you can possibly fast. But somehow she fast walks it. I don't know. It's crazy. It is fucking crazy to watch that lady work out. And then she gets on the rowers, and I don't even want to see that, man. She pretty much. In all honesty, out of all the people that work out there that come there, like, every day, she's the one. There ain't nobody. I don't recommend working out that hard. There's nobody that's going to be able to beat that woman. So, anyhow, something we wanted to jump into and talk about a little bit is about one of our the very first time that I actually started chasing hail, and I started learning about hail damage and kind of the ins and outs, was a storm in Indianapolis that happened in 2006. Yeah. We ended up traveling to Indianapolis, and I ended up meeting a guy outside of Indianapolis at I don't know. We met somewhere in between, right? He was kind of like the broker of the storm. He was an individual who, at the time, had a company called Hail Masters. You really don't hear about them anymore. But talked to him a little bit, and then he kind of took me over to the body shop, and went in, kind of met the owners, and it was just kind of like, met the guy, connected with him, and started working for him, and we ended up leaving our local area and traveling to Indianapolis for the very, very first hailstorm that I'd ever been on. Yeah. And one of the very first things that I'll just talk to you guys a little bit. Number one, traveling out when we first got there, we had no idea about, hotels being just jam-packed. Yeah.
So the first hotel that we got into was pretty, I don't know, it wasn't like
wasn't.
crappy, but it's just a very small room.
Yeah.
And until eventually I got talking to the guys at the Storm and all that stuff, and we ended up staying at the time it was really nice.
Extended.
And extended stay deluxe is what it was. So it was a
Yeah.
little bit better than a regular extended stay. And some of you guys who have traveled to Indianapolis or you know the area, we were up kind of on the side of Zionsville, which is I think the northwest or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Zan will correct me and tell me it's northeast or something like that. But we ended up getting into this hotel room and staying there, and we basically stayed there for about how many months do you think that was? I would tell you, but I'm always like, I think my fisherman story just got away on that one. It just keeps getting longer every time.
It was the whole summer.
Yeah, so definitely a whole summer and probably a few additional months here and there, give or take.
Did it start in May?
Could have, yeah.
Like beginning of May? Because you drove back and forth for the first couple days, and then we packed everything up in the expedition and head up there.
Yeah, yeah,
Or wait a minute. Yeah, and then we drove the expedition back, and then I think we drove the Mustang back up there.
yeah.
Something like of that nature. I think we were up there, 4 months?
Yeah, it was something
Four or
probably
5
about 4 months, 4 or 5 months, right?
Yeah.
Just a huge learning experience for me. Any of you guys out there who, you know, you're local, you've been pushing dents, if you ever get the chance to run into and take care of a hail damage storm, it will literally make you faster. And I'm feeling that now. It's something I want to talk about. You know, just since we've been doing hail and I've just been doing dent after dent after dent all day long, it literally by default, you just automatically, you see your speed start to go through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things, the very first hailstorm that I went to is, number one, I was literally dealership quality when I went there. And immediately I seen that the work that I was putting out on day to day, because I was only doing car dealers, was not up to par for inside of a body shop.
Yeah.
So that being said, I had to kind of become better. I mean, I had to really become better. I had to learn how to take my time. I had to, hang around the guys that came in there. It was the very first time I met Bryce Rockhill, which was a great guy to meet. I mean, Bryce Rockhill went out of his way to, show me the ropes, because I think he'd been chasing hail for quite a long time at that point.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that was really nice.
Yeah, that, and then another guy named
nice.
Michael Meggs, who ended up being like one of my best buddies, at that storm, and, we're still good friends today.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, Michael went like above and beyond, and got a chance to meet guys like Justin Fowler, who's probably one of the best hail techs I'd ever seen still to this day. And I've had, tons of guys employed underneath me, and tons of guys, that I've worked with since then, of course. Still probably one of the best hail techs I've ever seen. Actually, not probably, he is. It was such a humbling experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want that to discourage anybody to get out there and do things like that, because everything has a humbling beginning,
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is that storm made me who I am today. And one of the reasons why it was so humbling is because the dents at that storm were fucking hit.
Yeah.
So there was a guy who was, can't remember his name, but he drove from like 10 hours away, and he was like literally a 20-year technician. His quality of his work was great, but he actually left after one day at that storm.
He just said no thank
No, he
you.
just looked around and was like, fuck this, man, and left. And it was some of the most beat up shit that I probably still to this date, it was close to the Centerville storm, but to this date, it was probably some of the worst hail that I'd have ever seen.
Yeah.
That I physically wanted to work on.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Because everything after that was much, much easier. And I've heard other dent guys talk about this. There was some guy in our group, I can't remember, he's probably from like Brazil or something like that. But this dude took a door that would look like it had been ran over. Like, I'm talking about broke the door jamb down, everything. Like, literally, if you took a door and ran it over with your truck, he took it and he fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
And there was certain guys commenting, saying, why would you do that? This and that. Well, you know what, man? Every other dent after that is going to be nothing to that guy.
Yeah.
That's why he did it. It was one that I looked at and said, I was just sitting here trying to imagine the weeks of time that it would take to reshape that door.
I think basically, what would you say? Like, it was basically pushing you to your limits.
That was worse than anything I've ever seen. And maybe
Did it break you down?
I'm sorry, you're talking about the hailstorm?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. It broke me down on many, and I think I've talked about this before, but it's worth saying again. There was a dent that I was glue pulling, and I was new to glue pulling at the time. And it was back when we had like kind of shitty glue and shitty tabs, and I mean, they weren't bad. I mean, we had they're just nothing compared to what they are today.
Yeah.
So we had the green tabs, which I can't remember who made them, but we also had the red ones that were made by Worth. And I remember glue pulling a dent, I'm not kidding you guys, for 2 days on a rail because I refused to give up on it. Now, I want you to imagine this. Not only glue pulling a dent for 2 days, but my spot in that body shop was right in the middle.
Yeah.
So everywhere where all the body guys walked, all the dent technicians walked,
Yeah.
or the owner of the shop watched me glue pulling a dent for 2 days on one car.
You've never told me the story.
On one spot on a rail.
Really?
And every now and again, people would walk up to me and go, "Dang, man, you still working on that dent?" And I'd say, "Yeah, because I'm not going to let this one beat me," right?
Yeah.
So I spent 2 days, and I mean, this thing was a cannonball shot. Again, the tabs aren't as good as what they are today. I mean, it's still one that probably today would have took me, maybe an hour to fix today.
Did you do it, though?
But yes, I ended up glue pulling it. I ended up glassing that dent on that rail. But you know what that did for me? It made me good at glue pulling.
Yeah.
And, some people might look at me and say, that was a waste of 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's probably the best thing I did during that storm.
Yeah.
That, and also there was a aluminum hood, and this is back when aluminum started becoming more prominent and alive, that I spent about 14 hours on.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning that I spent all day one day from early in the morning all the way to the end of the day, probably 10-hour day, till they kicked us out of there. And then going into the next day for about another half of the day fixing an aluminum hood.
Yeah.
And but when I fixed that motherfucker, it was fixed, Yeah. And probably one of the best compliments, because, of course, when I first got there, I mean, yeah, it was pretty evident. I actually met Dave there from Top Flight PDR. He's got that little extra tab.
Mm-hmm.
Met Dave for the first time there, and he was kind of working in the evenings. He was working for Dent Wizard, but then he was coming in the evenings and doing repair work over at this body shop. But the funny thing was he didn't have any glue tabs, so I loaned him a few of my glue tabs.
Oh.
That's how things were back then. Things were like sparse. It was weird.
Yeah.
Compared to what it is today. But it wasn't even that long ago. You think about it, 2006 was not that long ago. But going back to the aluminum hood, like one of the best compliments I got there is because I stayed there about longer than most people.
Mm-hmm.
I think Michael stayed the longest because Michael was just very heavy hitter. He was consistently good work, and he could handle about anything you threw at him.
Mm-hmm.
And but I stayed there the second longest out of everybody, and a lot of that was the owner's respect for my drive because I was there waiting for them to open up every morning, and they basically had to kick me out of there at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the owner of the place, it was a place in Indianapolis called Langford Collision. And the owner of the place, his name's John Langford, and I'm still friends with John today. And I've reached out to him a couple times. He's a interesting dude. He's had some health issues, but, God bless him. He came up to me, and at the end of the storm, he said, he goes, when you came in here, you were kind of a mediocre dent guy. He goes, you're leaving here pretty damn mean. And it was the very last car that I was working on, and it was this beat up roof.
Yeah.
And then do you remember him telling you that I was a good guy when we were leaving?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, somebody's getting emotional. So, I mean, I could have. There was points. It was very humbling for me, and I wasn't a super prideful person, when it came to business or anything like that. And I'm always willing to get in there and kind of learn. And I just hope a lot of guys can learn from that, especially if a lot of you guys are just getting into a hailstorm and stuff like that. When things get new, when things change, You're always going to have humble beginnings. But if you stick it out, things will get better. Mm-hmm. You'll get better. You'll learn more. But the moment you close your mind, the moment you say there's nothing else out there for you to learn, is the moment when, in my opinion, you become stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter at what point in life you are. You're going to have things that you're going to learn. Market is going to be ever evolving, ever changing. And the truth of the matter is, in business, that's really what we have. That's it, The reason why, I know a lot of you guys are business owners out there. The reason why we own business is the unpredictability, the adventure,
The adventure.
The ability to live life through your business, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to spend most of your life working. Working and sleeping, you're probably going to spend most of your life, and then you got a certain part of your life you're going to spend with your family and friends.
Yeah.
But why spend it in your comfort zone? Why spend all of this time that we have in your comfort zone when the action and the experience and the unpredictability that we secretly crave is outside of your comfort zone?
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and end this podcast.
Now, wait a minute. I have to bring up something funny, though, about that whole thing. That's the time I bought you that organic T-shirt.
Oh, the time you bought me a shirt that said organic when we were eating McDonald's every morning?
Yeah.
I kind of wish I still had that. I'd wear it.
Oh, my God. I think it would have been pretty big on you, though. Weren't you bigger then at that time?
Yeah. I didn't know it, though. Next time, somebody remind me when I get super fat. Somebody's got to tell me. Like, hey, dude, you're super fat.
No, I told you. I said your belly is getting a little, it looked very tight.
I was about ready to win the Dickie Doo Award.
No, you weren't. No, your belly just looked tight. Like, it just looked tight. Like, you could just take a needle and, pop it.
Yeah. And now she's telling me I'm getting too skinny on her.
You've lost what, 20 pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyhow, guys, I don't think 227's too skinny.
No, you still be looking good. Yeah, but I like my men big.
Your men big?
I mean, you. But what I'm saying.
Oh, did you guys hear that? I like my women tiny. And big.
I'm not tiny.
And short.
It's short.
And tall.
You don't like tall women.
Hell, you don't know.
Yes, I do.
All right, everybody. So anyhow, appreciate you for coming along on this podcast adventure. And just a heads up, y'all are going to be hearing it here pretty soon. I'll be sending out some emails on the 4th of July. We're going to be launching the Dent Trainer Mega Media 4.0. And tickets are going to fly off, and we're going to be doing it out at the NOCO Auto Reconditioning Shop out in Colorado, Greeley, Colorado, which
if you
guys haven't seen, Colfax has an insane facility out there, and that's where we're going to be doing all the photos, all the videos.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are literally, it's going to be in October, mid-October. I think it's 16th, 17th, 18th. You guys will get an email, and it's going to be in Colorado, which is going to be bitchin'.
What do you like to call Colorado, though?
Well, Colorado. I like it because it rhymes with sorry gay ho. All right, everybody. So anyhow, appreciate you for coming along on this podcast. Write a review. You guys better write a review. You never know. We might do some spring up giveaways.
I know.
Just spring one on everybody. Give you no time. And then we're going to come back on the podcast and be like, "Do you guys miss the fucking giveaway?"
Yeah.
Oh, shit. You guys missed the giveaway. Oh, we gave away a Gorilla Grip. You guys should have seen it. You guys didn't leave a review? Oh, really? You was too busy? Oh, your fingers, they wouldn't work?
Oh.
All right, guys. You know what's up. We'll see you on that next one.
And remember, it's all about the motherfucking hustle.